We often don't think about how the other side views a war, but in the case of the Ukraine war, finding out how the average Russian sees this conflict is critical to understanding why the Ukraine war is still ongoing. In today's video, we're going to examine a piece of Russian propaganda to see how Russia is framing its war in Ukraine to its citizens. Alright, so here we have the morning briefing from the Russian Ministry of Defense. This is as of July 20th, 2022. So today, in this briefing, we have here Lieutenant General Igor Konashenikov. This guy I've actually seen before. Basically on the news, he does give briefings for the Syrian war in the past. So I've seen him before in one of these videos. But let's keep going and let's see what he has to say in this briefing.
The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation in Ukraine. High-precision weapon strikes of the Russian Aerospace Forces against missile and artillery weapons depot of the 14th Mechanized Brigade of Ukrainian Armed Forces in Soledar, in Donetsk People's Republic, have destroyed 19 units of armored equipment and up to 14 nationalists. High-precision weapons of the Russian Aerospace Forces have destroyed US-made Harpoon missile launcher near Usatovo, Odessa region. High-precision long-range, sea-based weapons have hit temporary deployment point of the 35th Marine Brigade in Dachnoye, Odessa region, where reservists for the Ukrainian Armed Forces were being trained. More than 200 personnel have been destroyed, as well as more than 10 foreign-made military vehicles.
And one thing I'd just like to point out as well is if you look at these claims, you'll notice that they do seem a lot higher than the Ukrainian claims, but also they're not really backed up by much, right? So if you looked at that video previously, that just showed, a missile strike in the middle of the night. That could have been a test fire. That could have been some type of training. You don't really know. It doesn't really show a lot of basically equipment being destroyed, unlike the footage you see from the Ukrainians with drones. So I'm pretty skeptical of this. One thing they do is they call out specific units that have been getting hit. So, in that case, like it tries to give it some legitimacy, but in terms of the actual footage you're seeing, none of it really shows any of these units, taking losses. So I'm pretty skeptical about these claims.
As part of counter-battery warfare, 5 platoons of Grad multiple launch rocket systems of the 48th and 58th Motorized Infantry Brigades, 6 artillery platoons of D-20 howitzers, and 9 artillery platoons of D-30 mounts in Kurakhovo, Novomikhailivka, Konstantinovka, and Georgievka in Donetsk People's Republic have been neutralized. Operational, tactical and army aviation, missile troops and artillery have hit 7 command posts, including units of the 63rd Mechanized and 61st Infantry Brigades.
Yeah, one thing, if you look here, this is obviously footage basically cut by someone who doesn't know what he's doing. In this footage, you're going to see that basically both the Russian and Ukrainian helicopters actually just dumbfire missiles into the air from their helicopter. So they point the helicopter up and just dumbfire it in the air, hoping to hit something. But the fact that they're showing this footage here shows that they're just cutting up any military footage or training footage and just putting it in, because this tactic usually does not really result in that many casualties and is not that effective. So I again, I'm having more doubts about this footage, just because even if we scroll back to the other footage where they show explosions, there's no real other vehicles there to kind of show what their kills were.
Near Yavkino, Bereznigovatoye, Vysunsk and Kaluga in Nikolaev region, the 128th Mountain Assault Brigade in Verkhnekamenskoye district in Donetsk People's Republic and the 92nd Mechanized Brigade in Dolzhak district of Kharkov region. 8 depots with missile and artillery weapons and ammunition have been destroyed near Paraskovievka, Konstantinovka, Artomovsk, Novovorontsovka in Kherson region and Ternavatoye in Zaporozhye region, as well as 2 fuel depots of the 54th Mechanized Brigade near Kurakhovo in Donetsk People's Republic.
Yeah, and if you look at what they're saying, again, like think about what they just said. They said 8 weapons depots and 2 fuel depots that were destroyed in a single day. So maybe if they had some HIMARS systems or some precision rockets, that possibly could be a thing. But even for the Ukrainians with HIMARS, I don't think they destroyed 8 in one day. So I think that this is another bit of propaganda that they're just trying to show that, hey, we're inflicting more casualties than the other side.
Russian Aerospace Forces fighter aircraft have shot down 2 Ukrainian Air Force airplanes in an aerial battle, namely 1 MiG-29 near Snegirovka, Nikolaev region, and 1 Su-25 near Dobropolye, Donetsk People's Republic. Russian air defense means have shut down 4 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles near Blagodatovka, Yavorskoye, Kharkov region, and Zugres, Donetsk People's Republic. In addition, 9 projectiles of Uragan multiple launch rocket system have been intercepted near Vasilenkovo in Kharkov region, as well as Novorossiysk, Krasnoyarsk.
Yeah, and one of the big thing I'm seeing here is that they're also saying that they basically intercepted rockets with their own in-house systems. And basically, I'm not even sure the Russian army has that capability as sort of like a Patriot system to intercept fast-moving rockets in that scale. So I'm not even sure that's a capability that they have or that they're skilled enough to use. But we'll just keep going.
Selskoye, Stepnoe, and Taras Shevchenko in Kherson region. In total, 259 Ukrainian airplanes and 143 helicopters, 1,572 unmanned aerial vehicles, 356 anti-aircraft missile systems, 4,135 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 760 multiple launch rocket systems, 3,166 field artillery and motors, as well as 4,410 units of special military vehicles were destroyed during the operation.
Yeah, and here you can see this really perfectly outlines what the Russians are thinking, right? So if you look at these reports, basically they're saying that they destroyed an astronomical amount of airplanes, helicopters, UAVs, tanks, field artillery units, right? So if you look, the Ukrainian army, I don't even think fields 259 airplanes in the entire Ukrainian army. So I'm not sure where they get this figure from, but these figures are basically pumped up to show that they're actually destroying more of the enemy than they're taking in casualties, right? But these look to be just completely false, right? 4,410, special military automotive equipment. We don't even know what that means, to be honest, but that just doesn't even ring a bell. 3,166 artillery pieces, considering the Russians only have 3,000 artillery pieces in their entire army. I doubt Ukraine somehow managed to even field that many pieces of artillery, to be honest. In this war, because if they did, they'd probably be winning. If they lost that many, then chances are they have more, right? So there you can see really on the Russian side, right, they really think that they're inflicting tons of casualties to the Ukrainians. These could be counting unconfirmed kills, misses, so many different things these could be counting to show basically that they're winning, they're inflicting tons of casualties. But the reality, I think, is just so much different. These numbers, the reality is probably a quarter of these numbers, to be honest, is probably more realistic in terms of the actual casualties that they've inflicted. So again, this really is eye-opening, and it shows you what the Russian people are being fed. They really think that they're winning this war, that they're inflicting massive casualties, but the reality is just not so. So, and what are some takeaways we can take from this? One is just the power of propaganda. Again, some people in Russia are just looking at this, they think they're taking this as the gospel, right? They think that they're winning, and they think that, whatever sacrifices they're making, it's toward a winning cause, right? But obviously that's really not the case. At best right now, the situation's a stalemate for the Russians, and at worst, they're really going to get swept by a counterattack if they don't really reinforce their troops. So again, just showing the power of propaganda. Again, it's very interesting just to see, I guess, how the other side is portraying this war and like what they're thinking. And I think this video does that. So if you guys like this type of content and you want more of it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned.